Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Captain Crockett, aka Cyber Calamity, aka Jordan, alongside my two beautiful co-hosts here. One is 25 years old, 26 years old.
Jesus.
He's also known as the Red Ranger, the infamous Tay Infinite, aka just Octavius.
He's going to roll Octavian.
Octavian.
Octavius is a friend of mine.
I thought your name was Octavius when we met.
No, you thought it was Octavio.
Octavio, that's what it was. Yeah.
That's a hard sounding name.
If people think I'm Dominican sometimes.
Yeah, American same sound like that.
What is that? What is that Keen Pill joke? It's like I'm Poppy. No, I'm not black. I'm
Aaron.
Los pollos hermanos.
And then alongside that beautiful man is my other beautiful man here, the Burgundy Bros himself with the Burgundy. That's a throwback from college.
That is a big throwback.
The Burgundy Bros.
The Burgundy Bros having burgers.
This man is going to flow right now, isn't he?
What'd you say?
He's just going to flow.
Oh yeah, oh dude, I'm in it. I'm in it fully. I gotta get that podcast hosting back, dude. I used to have it. I used to be crisp.
You good?
When we did the Discord,
I was like, why is he so crisp?
like a fresh apple over here in my ear.
That's so funny. He's so crisp.
He's so crisp.
Yeah, the Burgundy Brothers coming back, making
Burgundy
burgers.
Brothers.
You know,
Burgundy Brothers.
That's
like
a whole shtick.
Yeah.
We had a whole
so
bit.
stupid.
It was the dumbest thing, but it was great.
Dude, Tate, let me tell you, me and Bryan last night, we were burning the midnight oil.
Dude, yeah.
So I made a Chainsaw Man cosplay. If you guys don't know what Chainsaw Man is, go check out that manga.
Stupid.
No, hey, he's got a point. You know, that's anime in general.
Well,
though.
he looks cool. The chainsaws in the arm look dumb, but the helmet looks fucking sick.
It does.
Yeah.
But look at fucking One Piece. Look how dumb those characters look from the outside.
Yeah,
until you get into it.
They're badass as fuck.
No, but they're not. Dude, look at Big Mama. What the fuck is that?
She's strong as shit.
I don't care.
I love her design because it's like you don't expect that from her.
But that's anime. It's like you'll look at something and be like, this looks stupid.
What you know about Big Mom?
I see her on Twitter. I see all y'all on Twitter talking about this dude with a huge body and then a bean head.
Fuck, I forgot his name.
Bean ass head.
Kaido's badass. His hybrid form.
Who's not badass though?
Yeah, Katakuri.
You didn't watch One Piece.
Yes, I did.
You watched the fights.
I read the manga.
No, you
He
don't.
does read the manga.
Yeah,
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
You stay up to date with it?
Yeah, one was about to be in.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then
go read Chainsaw Man.
Trying to question me.
Yeah.
Go read Chainsaw Man.
No, I don't want to read.
Please.
Gatekeep you from an anime he doesn't watch. Anyway,
Guys,
so yeah, yesterday you and you built a Chainsaw Man cosplay. The blades came out looking really fucking nice.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, and the reason. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, we stayed up. Literally, where did 6 hours go?
Are you recording this or anything, or just going to flow?
Yeah, no, we did some.
We did some B-roll. I kind of vlogged it, but it's gonna be like a Frankenstein vlog.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of my shots were out of focus because I didn't have my camera set up properly. I haven't used it in a while, but we're getting back into the swings of things. Guys, this is episode 97. Welcome to the show and theme song.
You forgot to introduce the topic. Bring it back.
Today
we're talking about...
Wait. Yeah, can you do that? Play the theme song and then rope it back. It's like, wait. We didn't introduce the topic.
Today we're talking... So today's topic, if you saw us at the panel that's happening, or that happened last Sunday, you saw us talk about this. We're talking about Toonami and how it shaped a generation of anime. Well, it shaped anime for a generation of like Americans.
Look, we all wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Toonami. Straight up.
That's fucking wild.
Most people wouldn't have friends if it wasn't for Toonami.
Don't they call that the butterfly effect? Like that one event changed your life?
Yeah,
dude, it changed the trajectory of everyone's lives.
Absolutely. I would have been such a boring asshole if I didn't have Toonami.
About.
Yeah. So we're talking about that today, and now we can do the theme song.
This is the Toonami blog. Toonami's back, bitches. That's an old throwback. If you don't know what Toonami is, it's an anime blog that was hosted on Cartoon Network years ago in 1997, and it pretty much from my point of view, and a lot of point of view, and I think a lot of people, if you were a kid back in the early 2000s, so if you're an old fuck like us, not really that we're old, but if you're older and you're into anime today, it probably very well is probably because of Toonami.
Yeah, probably. If you're American, 30 and
25 to 30,
and
maybe
25
right?
to 30 and watch anime right now, you're probably came from Toonami.
So if I'm not mistaken, anime was successful by collecting DVDs and VHSs right at the time, right? The Toonami was like, hey, let's fucking put this shit on TV.
Put a block on, yeah.
It was like very niche. It was a very niche market in the States because it was hard to source. Like you couldn't get it. And then when they did source it, we brought it back as like sort of like Saturday morning cartoons and like didn't really treat it with the same respect that Toonami treated it as.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's part of the history of Toonami. So let's just run through that real quick. We all know it primarily ran anime and a couple of American cartoons, but it actually started as a show called Super Adventures that replaced another cartoon block in Cartoon Network called Power Zone in 1997. And then 2 years after that, in 1999, that's when actually Super Adventure Zones became Toonami, when they introduced the Toonami Operation module, otherwise known as Tom, with the silkiest, sexiest voice ever.
I love Stephen's voice.
Well, not until 2000 when they
not
switched
until 2001.
over.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So actually, if you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, the voice of Krillin was actually the initial voice. But Tom wasn't actually the first host of Toonami. It was actually when they were doing Power Zone and Super Adventures, it was Moltar, which is...
Is he related to, what's the guy with the angel wings?
It's
Steve Harvey Birdman.
Are they relation?
Yeah, it's the same.
From Ghost...
Space Ghost.
Space Ghost.
Some shit like that. I forgot what show it's
He's
called.
the baddie in Space Ghost, but I think Harvey Birdman was from Space Ghost too.
Yeah.
Before he became like a comedy show.
Who was the late great? What's that guy's name? He recently passed. He was the lead animator for Steve Harvey.
No idea. Steve Harvey animated?
Steve Harvey.
Or Steve Harvey. Bird. What is it? What's that guy's name?
From Birdman.
It's something Harvey. It's like Harvey.
His name is Harvey Birdman.
Harvey
Birdman,
Birdman. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Steve Harvey.
I didn't really watch it. I watched it here and there. It's like a random show that came out.
It was very weird. I think.
But that's Adult Swim classics right there.
I think it was a little bit too old for me to understand the jokes.
Same here. But I think that's when Toonami really started popping up. And that's where I saw, because I started seeing Adult Swim and I started seeing Space Ghost and stuff like that. And then back when the Toonami block released in 19...
Actually, I don't think it was a part of Adult Swim just yet. I think Toonami, if I recall correctly, because Toonami used to come on at like 6 o'clock.
Toonami was the interim between Adult
Swim
and Cartoon Network. That was like the interim block.
The gateway.
Yeah.
So Toonami, I think you mentioned it already, but Toonami used to be weekly event, like Monday to maybe Friday.
Yeah,
After I got out of school, Toonami was on.
Yeah.
I played outside a bit. Yeah, about 6 p.m. it was on.
Yeah, because I remember, I can remember, and I've said this a billion times on the podcast, but just coming home, laying down on the floor.
Yeah.
And I could see we had 2 glass windows, and you could see the sunset coming down. So it was getting like reddish in the room, and then I'd be watching Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, God.
In your little log cabin watching Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, my God, dude. Cozy wozy. I tell you what.
The dream.
I was in the projects.
Yeah.
I had my window right there. I'm going a little ahead of that, but I remember Goku turning Super Saiyan 4.
Same. That's exactly how I watched it. Yeah, it was Toonami.
That.
I was like, because I watched it when Steam Bloom was the voice of Tom. That's when I started watching it. Yeah. Because I'm from Puerto Rico, so I had like a delay run on it sometimes.
I don't remember Moltar.
Yeah, I don't remember Moltar either, because Moltar was 1997.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, I don't remember Moltar at all. I found out when Toonami came back. I just what we doing now.
But I do remember Tom's first form, his little ball form.
Yeah,
I regularly remember that form.
So let me read through this real quick. So it initially ran as a weekday afternoon block on Cartoon Network from 1997, known as Super Adventures, until 2004. At this point, it transitioned into a Saturday evening format until it got canceled in 2008. So in 1999, Tom was actually introduced as the host of Toonami, and it was so wildly successful. Yeah. And it gave because they changed the whole aesthetic. Instead of being like a Space Ghost, pretty much the only thing that they kept was the space situation, and they introduced this tiny little bobblehead of a figure. And
what was he's a Toonami operation module. Yeah. So I remember them like drilling. He would have like these little bugs drill down to Earth.
Yeah.
And he would like
coolest
Like he was
animations, too.
like hovering over Japan, sucking up all the anime, and then the ship would like transform into English for us American audience.
There was some lore behind the Toonami animations.
That's really cool. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Like such a cool.
This is like a
device.
hosting.
Yeah.
This was a like 10-second thing that they would do right before they would just show the next episode, and there was an entire.
And you didn't
lore.
question it either. You just saw
No,
it.
you're like, yeah, there's Tom, and then when I see Tom, I know I'm gonna get some anime.
Yeah,
They called the
exactly.
ship the Absolution, the Epsilon, or some shit.
Yeah, they had different names, and then they'd have well, then they would call so Tom actually has different forms too.
Yeah. He's
So
got
he
different
has
designs.
how many forms that we're at now?
He's had
8?
Five.
He's had
yeah.
5.
Yeah.
No, I think there's more
He's
than
had 5 redesigns. Tsunami is still active, so it's very much likely that he has.
That's what I'm saying. I
10
think
parts,
there
yeah.
is got to be at least 7 at this point.
I think so. But that block was primarily aimed at like children and teenagers, probably like 9 to 15, which would have been like middle school for us. Like we started watching Toonami when we were in
Yeah,
middle
it
school,
had to
right?
been.
No, I was in elementary school watching.
Elementary school. Yeah.
I think 2000. It probably was. I think I started watching Toonami probably like seriously like watching Toonami probably like 2002 something like that, 2003.
I remember watching Goku turn Super Saiyan for the first time on Toonami. And
So, if I'm not mistaken, speaking of Dragon Ball, they were doing Ocean dub of Dragon Ball, so it wasn't the voice cast we were used to. So I
no,
think
it was a different cast. Yeah.
From to the Frieza saga. I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, by the way. From
Yeah.
To like the end of Frieza saga, to the start to the end of Frieza saga was a different dub. They called it the Ocean dub.
Interesting.
And Vegeta sounds differently. Everybody else sounds different.
It wasn't
People not
for
used
Sabat
to.
or anything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
But then they changed to the cast we know to Funimation.
Right.
I guess doing
Love that,
Cell
yeah.
Saga, whatever.
I rember watching. I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z. I was watching Dragon
Fuck
Ball.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that's how literally
That's
that's how I was introduced to that series was the OG Red Ribbon Army Goku turned into an ape
Yeah.
and then the moon being a whole thing. And a lot of people just forget that even exists because
forget.
Dragon Ball Z was so big.
I fucking remember when Toonami was promoting the Cooler's. What is the Metal Cooler movie?
Yeah,
Cooler's
the Revenge of
Revenge.
I remember
Cooler.
those fucking ads getting
This is so
hyped
good.
as fuck. Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
But that's part of like the reason why Toonami was like really successful as a block. It was one of the first times that we felt like we were being talked to
Yeah.
instead of talked at as
Yeah.
an audience. Like Toonami really understood the target audience that it was going for, and it understood how to talk to us without being condescending or calling us stupid for like
Yeah.
liking the show that we wanted.
Yeah, if you want to stark contrast on this, like look at WB.
Yeah.
So WB actually had anime on it too. So it had Yu-Gi-Oh, which damn it, they had Pokemon,
One Piece.
They had all this. They had
Yeah, all the
Sonic
shit.
X.
For kids was exactly how I watched Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like,
all of us.
it treated them like Saturday morning cartoons.
Well,
Yeah.
the iconic Sonic singing all the characters singing Pledge of Allegiance or whatever star
Japanese
single
characters singing American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
so funny.
if you look at that, how insane that was, and then you take it and then you look at a Toonami bumper
Yeah.
and how they spoke to directly to kids.
Yeah.
You can see like just like Toonami was taking it a lot more serious, and I think that's why Toonami.
Appeal to us.
Yeah,
It appealed to us a lot. Yeah.
Was there any like 14 rated up or whatever for Toonami?
I think the later half of the blocks, like Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, stuff
Yeah.
like that, was like that kind of programming.
Because I was like 7 at the time watching this shit.
Yeah.
but
We
bleeding
definitely watched it. It wasn't like, because the target demographic isn't particularly like,
It changed over
Yeah.
time.
If
I
you
think they would
watch
also
Inuyasha-
censor it too.
yeah, they would also do some censoring for sure.
Yeah.
But it was never like anything that you could watch in Toonami. It was never like
For kids
offensive
back. Yeah.
or exclusively for kids. It was like really for the developmental stage
Mhm.
when like you're maturing a little bit and like the stuff that you're watching is kind of maturing with you.
Yeah.
And I think that Toonami really, really understood that.
Mhm.
And I think that's the reason why it became so successful, because it grabbed us so hard. And it was like the first time that I felt like I was like part of the community of people that enjoyed the same things that I enjoyed.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
I have a like very core memory. I love saying core memory. I have a core memory of like watching Dragon Ball Z, and like this is I kind of kept to myself in school.
Yeah.
I think this is like one of the first times I really made a strong connection with someone at school. It was like I was watching Dragon Ball Z and I was watching, I think it was maybe the Cell arc or the Frieza arc. But I remember going to school and just knowing that my friends now, but like they were just random people to me at that
Yeah.
point. But we just started talking about Dragon Ball Z and it just made this absolute connection. And I'm like, you guys watch Dragon Ball Z too? And they're like, yeah, dude, we love Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like,
Shit
yeah.
outside, like Kamehameha and all that shit.
Yeah.
That shit was awesome.
And then I threw a couple Kamehamehas.
Yeah, we still do. I still do.
So, so just to see if it'll work.
It still works.
Just,
One day, maybe. One day.
And then they were like telling me like, yeah, Goku goes Super Saiyan 3. I saw it on like a DVD somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I saw it on like this
The
is before like
rumors.
they like online was even a thing. Like yeah, I
Gohan
saw it
Blanco.
on.
All that crazy shit. Yeah, it was like, and it definitely like that wasn't the intention. Like it wasn't the intention to make a programming for those kind of like outcasted kids. You know, that's never the intent. But I feel like it just hit a very specific point for people that were not particularly interested in cartoons, like in the Western cartoons, and just fucking nailed that interest of like having a really solid aesthetic and a really solid image.
Yeah.
And it just hooked us completely.
Yeah.
Completely clapped us.
And you know it's funny because it's like we talked about this before in the podcast, like episodes ago. But it's like as a kid, you don't realize you're watching Japanese entertainment at the time.
Yeah.
But when you look at it now, like holy shit, we watched a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Back in the day, before I even realized it was anime.
Yeah, and I came to this realization like a couple of years ago was like, because I'm like, why? I just set myself down one day. I'm like, why am I into like Japanese culture so much, and why am I? I have this familiarity with it, and I just started sitting down. I'm like, dude, half the cartoons I watched as a kid and everything that I liked was always anime, and I kind of grew up getting like I guess getting instilled with a grain of salt. Japanese culture, because they would still edit like the jelly donut from Pokemon, where it was obviously a rice ball, but they're like jelly donut, like
they just forgot to draw the fucking donut.
Yes, but you still got but like, and then even Power Rangers. Yeah, I mean, if you watch the first season, Godzilla, if you watch the first season of Power Rangers. Every time they do like a suit shot or they did a Megazord fight. It's downtown Tokyo. Yeah. There's literally, I remember I was rewatching it a couple of years ago, and there's graffiti. There's Japanese graffiti on the back of the walls in some areas.
I love that.
And they forgot to edit it out.
Yeah. It's a really interesting thing because like, apart from like really being that sweet point in the aging process when we're growing up, where we're like finally transitioning from being like a kid to a teenager, it generated that huge interest and something that was like not decidedly un-American, something that was like foreign, something that was like so different from what you were used to.
You can clearly tell it was different from like like Ed and Eddie and all that shit.
Yeah,
there was something different from it.
There was something really unique, and I didn't know that I was watching anime until I was like maybe like 14. It was just happened so gradually because they exposed you to it in such a way that was like, oh yeah, here's an episode of Dragon Ball Z. Oh, do you like that? Then keep watching it. But it never tried to educate you on it. It just kind of made you appreciate it without like a very significant amount of effort on their part. It was just like, oh yeah, you're watching a Japanese media that's been dubbed in English, and now it's
well. They also even separated. They showed you that like anime was not just a genre, but it actually had different styles.
Yeah.
So there was. Obviously, like you had your Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, and everything like that.
It was like anime was a medium, not a genre.
Right. Yeah. And then, but then they would have like special weeks where they would do Giant Robot Week, or they do like Miyazaki Month or something where they show Miyazaki. Yeah. So they would separate them into like, no, this is like its own thing, but
they did American cartoons too. Like Samurai Jack was on Toonami for a bit. Yeah. Powerpuff Girls was on Toonami for a bit.
Which one?
Powerpuff Girls.
Oh yeah, I love Powerpuff Girls. Yeah.
But this wasn't on like when we were kids. Yeah, this was like later on, right?
It was on kids. It was. I remember that Powerpuff Girls.
So it would be really intermixed, and the really unique
it's action thing. Sorry, but
no, you go ahead.
Toonami was meant to be a wave.
But with the lineup, they would gradually do it from like cartoon to like probably harder anime.
Because I remember that was the interesting thing though. It's like they didn't do that. They intermixed Western cartoons with Japanese cartoons.
Yeah, it was a blend.
So it like they didn't have like a specific like 7. We start with the Western and then we move into the Japanese stuff.
Yeah,
they just moved up in maturity, and it just so happened that like a lot of the Japanese media that we watch, like it's a little bit more mature.
Yeah,
like Inuyasha, Yu Yu Hakusho,
right,
stuff like that. But I do strongly remember them mixing in like Powerpuff Girls and like Samurai Jack.
Anything with action.
With like, I remember watching Dragon Ball Z and then immediately watching Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
And like,
good Lord, what a fucking transition.
I know, right? But it's that mixture of like watching something that is decidedly Western and watching something that's Japanese without you knowing the difference that legitimized Japanese media in your mind as being something that you just enjoy.
Yeah.
You view it as the same thing. So you're like absorbing the culture without even really thinking about it. because it's in the same block of programming. There's no differentiation.
Yeah.
And I thought I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And that's been like my experience because now when I watch anime, I don't sit down and like if I want to sit down and watch Full Metal, I don't think of it as like a Japanese show. I just think of it as like, oh yeah, it's a show that I'm watching.
And that's probably how people like in Japan probably view it as too. It's just, it's not anime to them. It's a TV show.
TV.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm the opposite. Actually, I know I'm watching anime. Maybe because I'm older and realize what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at some point you just sit down and you're just putting on like another TV show.
If you watch modern day anime now, you could do. I could tell. I'll be like, yeah, I'm watching like but stuff that like if I watch Dragon Ball Z, I'm not watching anime. I'm watching like TV. I'm watching like a cartoon from my past or something.
Exactly.
Or Full Metal Alchemist or anything like I watch that. Gundam Wing. That's actually a good thing I want to kind of go into is like how they never held your hand.
That's true.
With the content they were showing you. They would go from Dragon Ball Z, which is pretty easily, it's not super digestible, but I mean, it's pretty good. You can digest it as a kid.
Right.
You can kind of get what understanding. You won't understand like arcs really at that point in age, and until you watch like a lot of them.
And you'll probably watch like an episode of like someone fighting Cell, and then not watch for 3 weeks, and then find out that Cell's died, and now you're fighting Boo.
Right.
And you're like watching it completely out of order.
At least they would try to keep it kind of consistent.
But you're entertained as fuck.
It was so good.
But then they would just jump into the next like episode.
And it was like
not the next episode of like Dragon Ball, but like the next block would be like Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
Which
the super hyper political show.
Yeah, which you would have no clue what's going on.
So
even today, like as a grown man, I still have a hard time following the story of Gundam.
So as a kid, I loved the shit out of Gundam.
Yeah.
Like giant robots is all that matters to me. So
Yeah.
I actually tried rewatching Gundam Wing about 4 years ago. And I'm like, how the fuck did I watch this?
I remember.
I don't know how I watched it because it's like at least 5 minutes of 30-minute episode of Gundam's fighting.
Yep.
But everything else around it's political.
It's political.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember distinctly someone just sitting in a big like empty room and it's dark and there's drinking wine. I was watching this like 6 years old and I'm like, I get it.
You didn't get it.
Yeah.
You didn't get it. All you care about was just robots fighting.
Yeah, I was like, get to the robots.
Yeah. That's crazy though.
And then you would have like a show like Bobobo.
This is like 2005 here.
Yeah.
I hated that fucking show.
Me too.
But
it gave me
then-
anxiety.
I love it because you would just have this crazy mix of different genres of anime. It's like you would have fighting anime, so hyper like Dragon Ball Z. You had like political like Gundam Wing, Sailor Moon, and then you would have like Bobobo.
Yep.
You would have Prince of Tennis.
I remember Prince of Tennis too.
You would have sports animes. You would have like serious animes. You would have like power anime. Like
I remember the Prince of Tennis ads with Peter Cullen's voice. They got it Optimus Prime. He does Toonami.
And now that was sick too because they had
Prince
goddamn
of Tennis.
Steve Bloom on the mic, and then they had
Peter Cullen or something.
Peter Cullen introducing the shows.
That's pretty sick.
That he would also do like he would do the bumpers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So speaking of bumpers.
That's exactly my segue.
When I got older, I love the fuck out of Toonami's or Adult Swim's bumper style or whatever.
Dude, yeah, it's so
They're
good.
so fucking good.
They're
like
so good.
Action music and these different cuts around it. And they do like the voice overs from the episodes over the edits and shit.
Yeah.
It's so fucking
They're like
cool.
they're like video DJing.
Yeah.
But apart from like
that's
that,
what it is. Yeah.
The thing that I really like about it is because it talked to you. This comes back to the fact that they talk to kids like they were people because those bumpers had some really valuable lessons attached to them. Like my favorite bumper, it was like the life bumper. We'll cut to it.
That's just like
have to show it, but yeah, it's fucking sick.
That one came out 2013 this year, right?
No, the life bumper might be like a little bit earlier than that because I think it's like times 3.
So here's the deal. Life doesn't always want to be your friend. Sometimes it'll feel like life wants to hurt you.
That was a downer.
But you can't just hide. Because nobody likes a quitter.
I'll go first.
You gotta take chances.
This fire isn't gonna stop me!
They never said it was gonna be fun or easy. Whether you're totally ready or when you least expect it, doesn't matter. Life will punch you right in the face.
Your resistance is futile.
Now you can lie there for a second. Cry a little if you need to. But get back on your feet. Because it's the getting back up that counts. That's what shows you've got heart. That's what helps keep you going.
Hit me with everything you've got.
Fall down 7 times. Get up 8.
I don't want to go down. Not without a fight.
No, we'll be right there with you.
Wake up.
Toonami on Adult Swim.
And when you're a kid, you crave to be to be talked to like as an adult. Like
Yeah.
you crave maturity. So this was like exactly what I needed as a kid.
Exactly, yeah. It just understood how to communicate with us. And I think that the bumpers are such a great way for them to do that, because you're watching this badass, like, two buff men beating the shit out of each other, and the next thing is just like, life will punch you in the face.
Yeah.
And you gotta get up. And it's just like, and you're watching like hyped up by the fight, and you're just like, fuck
And
yeah, I
know-
gotta get up.
Their editors were really
Yeah,
good.
they were
They were
fantastic.
And you know how like kids work, because if we was at that certain age watching the new Toonami at the time, they know we love that shit. So our brain is sucked into that TV.
Yeah.
And they cut to a speech.
Yeah.
You're gonna understand that speech because you're so ingrained to what Toonami is.
Yeah.
So at the time you're gonna like learn what that speech means. Like, oh, we're talking about life or some shit. Instead of
like
some
what
propaganda
show
Right.
show that just like has a host like that would cut like
Would just
That-
talk to a kid and
was
just be
like-
like, hey man.
yeah, like it's revolutionary. It's like
Yeah.
because all that thing because the whole Toonami thing was just to host a blog.
Yeah.
When did I mean, I guess sure, like Cartoon Network would do like the little like Cartoon City thing, which was always kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you guys know what I'm talking about, where
Yeah.
they just show all the characters.
love the shit out of that, by the
Yeah,
way.
they were great.
Yeah.
But those kind of blocks, because like you had to fit in like 30-minute episodes, but you had like 10 seconds of like dead air.
Mhm.
Can't really put a commercial in there. So the bumpers were just such a great use of those 30, 25 seconds to like give you some breathing room.
Shit, Tom did game reviews sometimes.
Really?
Over
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Tom was doing game reviews.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But apart from that, like because Toonami was like so influential in talking to us, like I don't feel like any of us would be particularly artistically inclined. Like we wouldn't have chosen the jobs that we chose, I think, without at least having that exposure from Toonami.
It's fucking wild. Jordan brought it up before the show, I think, but it's fucking wild to think of. That one moment we got introduced to Toonami
Yeah,
sparked off something else.
Yeah.
completely change your life.
Yeah.
Because if
I
we
never
hadn't
thought
had that moment, the first time that we watched Goku beat the shit out of Frieza,
Yeah.
Or go super
or
Saiyan.
go Super Saiyan, if we didn't have that moment, we probably wouldn't have been like, I want to make that.
Yeah.
That I want to learn how to do that. That looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And without that moment, like we wouldn't be working where we're. Like I wouldn't be like a film guy,
Yeah.
because Toonami really introduced to me the idea of like media and like action movies and like how to make it. And then like I keep hammering this on, but it talked to me as someone that would like, hey, if you want to make this shit, like it's hard and it's really fucking cool, but you can do it. Like it's your job.
you know, I might be reaching here.
Yeah.
But I think the world got a little bit smaller once Toonami aired like Dragon Ball like that, or
Yeah.
just started airing anime on US TVs, because there's because now you and someone halfway across the world in Japan have something in common.
Have a connection. You guys are now linked.
Have you guys ever seen the Kakarot trailer? Like, so do you remember the video game that came out? It was
Yeah.
Kakarot. It was like I think it was the latest Dragon Ball
The
Z
open
game to
world
come
game
out.
they did or
Yeah,
whatever.
it had a commercial where it's literally shows this dude going from like a child to like a full on adult, and
I
then
love
like
that commercial.
That-
That was a really good commercial.
So,
It was a Japanese exclusive commercial.
I didn't care about this game at all.
Yeah.
But
like the game is so, but this commercial is so heartwarming.
so you just see it kind of. Did you play as Kid Goku in that game?
No. But the commercial was that the premise of the commercial was like this kid watched the original Dragon Ball on TV
Yeah.
and has been with the franchise for 20 plus years. And like it shows him growing up and being like picking up the latest Blu-ray, picking up the manga, and then finally when he's like an
All right,
adult,
check this.
He
picking up the
remembers it.
copy of the game, and he remembers the here. We'll take a detour for this because this is worth it.
This is such a good commercial.
Yeah. Full screen. Press the F.
So he's us. Is what this commercial.
Yeah. And we wouldn't have not had that experience had it not been for Toonami. It's just
It sucks that this game is so because this commercial is for like a
one of
god
the
tier
best
game.
commercials. Yeah.
あの頃あの頃あの頃あの頃
And it's just like a bunch of little kids, just
Well, that's him. That's him as a child.
his brothers, yeah.
He's Super Saiyan.
本気で信じてた
That was all of us, dude.
アニメの翌日はその話で持ちきりで
But talking about Toonami, this was
is
literally
what Toonami
this
did to
was
us.
yeah, this is exactly. And look, I'm kindred with this.
Yeah.
That's insane.
そうそう続きが知りたく
Look
て
at
買い
that.
に
Look
走っ
at
たっ
that.
け
So this is a Japanese commercial directed by Japanese people, written by Japanese people, and somehow, because of Toonami, we now have the same experience that they're trying to portray.
This is literally me and my cousins outside.
It's great.
At the same age. I feel like, what the fuck you guys doing?
I think this is one of my. This got to be one of my favorite commercials I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
it's a really great marketing campaign.
Because someone who watched Dragon Ball as a kid directed this.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
they knew this. I mean, they hit it on the fucking head.
God, the best song ever.
That was an awesome
That's
song.
fucking
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
Isn't that the cutest shit? The game really is like, it's pretty okay.
Dragon Ball's awesome.
But that fucking commercial.
That commercial was amazing.
Yeah.
That commercial made me buy the game immediately.
That's awesome. That's a great commercial.
Yeah.
And it's like he's preaching to like the next kids doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
but
They're
think
the
about,
Naruto kids.
but think about the impact that Toonami had on us.
Yeah.
That a Japanese cultural, like purely Japanese commercial, aired in Japan, did not come out in the States, did not get translated into the States. It's something that we resonate so deeply with.
Yeah.
That is why I think Toonami really, that summarizes to me the power that Toonami had over us as kids. And like how it really led us into like the safe space where like our creativity was able to flourish. We made all these like super meaningful connections when we were talking to people about the shows that we like. Half of the friends that I made were made because I was talking about this shit.
Yeah.
I was talking about like
Dragon
Yu Yu
Ball.
Hakusho and Inuyasha and Sailor Moon and
There was this guy in high school who was not into the shit I was at all. But
Yeah.
one thing that resonated with him was fucking Dragon Ball Z. That's the one thing he can talk to me about. He loved the shit out of it.
And it's just such a magical moment, really, when you are able to like sit down and there's this, it's still entertainment, like it's still
Yeah.
programmed and they're still trying to make money.
Yeah.
But there was like a soul, there was like a lack of cynicism
Yeah.
in Toonami that really, really just sparked a flame in us. And I think like and for us, like we are creative people, but we didn't know that at the time. It like really cultivated that creative flame inside of us and even gave us advice on how to be like better creators.
Yeah.
Like if you play the haters bumper,
I remember
like,
this.
he's talking about that one. He's like,
My favorite one's the Broken Promise speech. I fucking loved
I don't remember.
it.
Space.
A boy has the right to dream. There are endless possibilities stretched out before him.
To trust in your own power.
Whatever happens from now on, you stand firm and face your destiny without fear, but with courage.
What awaits him down the path, he will then have to choose.
No one's gonna give you a map. You've gotta walk your own path.
Children leave their homes in search of this quest.
What is thy desire?
As they search, they are always asking questions. What's out there? What's waiting for me?
Why was I made? Who made me? And what did they make me for?
Are you gonna go up into space with your old man or not?
Maybe I'll never get over this.
I've lived my life following my dreams, and I don't have any regrets.
You gonna just keep running away?
Just keep running away? I'm not running.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Believe in yourself and create your own destiny. Don't fear failure.
This ad like represents the curiosity of like a child, like a boy,
Yeah.
growing up, and what his destiny, his future is.
I think that's Tom too.
Yeah, that's Tom too there. I remember this shit on TV. But that's like one of my favorite, I guess you call it speech of all time. I love the shit out of that video.
it's so good.
So good.
It's so good. And I think it does that extremely well. It's just like you're a tiny little kid and you're growing up and shit feels scary. And it's like, don't run away, man.
Yeah.
Face it.
Things
Face
will
it
be
head
okay.
on. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that is where I think the true power of Toonami
Yeah.
lays for me. It's the little lessons that I learned.
Mm-hmm.
Lessons that like my parents didn't teach me, my friends didn't teach me. I'm an autistic kid in the middle of an island in Puerto Rico, just like not understanding how the world works. And like this made it easier for me. Like Toonami made it significantly easier for me.
They got another one. I think it was called Live to the Fullest or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
I love that one too. They actually, God, I got terrible. I remember they uploaded this like the day before New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember this like the last of December, and then they uploaded it. They showed the Thundercats reboot up there because that was on Toonami at the time.
Right. I remember that. That was like the after it came back, right?
Yeah, after it came back on all that show. That's how I watched fucking Thundercats.
Speaking of it, like it ending.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about like the lead up to the end of Toonami?
Yeah.
So
Jesus Christ, that was sad.
So from 1990, so we began in 1997, and then it in 2000 is when Toonami actually fully launched with the Tom module.
Yeah.
Was the voice actor of Steve Bloom replacing Sonny Strait.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 2000 all the way up to 2008, Toonami there was 5 or 4 different Toms, and then probably around 2000, I'm going to guess 2007, 2006, they changed Tom's face.
Yeah.
They were kind of going, they're kind of
2006.
ramping down a little bit. They went for a new art style where it was not just one Tom, it was like several Toms.
Yeah.
And then they had
It was a
Tay, you said something about
So like, after I went to a rabbit hole years ago, Toonami history.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason, and I found out the reason they changed from the Tom we know, the iconic Power Ranger looking Tom, to the Pixar Tom, I would guess.
Yeah.
like eyes in a face.
Yeah, eyes in the face. Because I remember as a kid, I don't like that Tom.
Yeah.
I remember having that feeling, but they did that because apparently, I guess call them soccer moms, was saying like, hey, the original Tom was scary, which I have no fucking clue why it was scary.
I never
He
met
had no
anyone who
emotions
had-
at all. His face,
It was just a mask.
the
Yeah.
visor, whatever. That's it. So they changed that to the face Tom. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but
Which a lot of people
Hated it.
left a sour
just
taste in their
funny because I
mouth.
don't know anyone who likes that design.
No.
No, because it was objectively a poor choice because it took away the aesthetic, the mystique that the Tom character had. But it was also the time where like we as the target audience were like leaning away from the
This I was going
shows
to
that
middle school at the time.
that we're moving away from the shows that they're playing. We're having a little bit more difficult time like keeping up and watching because life is getting so busy. So it makes sense that this is around the time where they're trying to engage with a younger audience. But that engagement is really what I think solidified the cancellation of Toonami
And
in 2008.
like, it's funny because when they rebrought it back in 2012, they kind of did a retcon.
Yeah.
So Tom 4 and the Tom we know grew up before are separate characters.
Yeah.
Now, so it's like he talks to him on the intercom sometimes, whatever. And it's Steve Bloom talking to himself.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But yeah, that was like the beginning of the end for Toonami was a really sad era.
Yeah, it was so poor design, obviously, and then there was this also other outlets to get anime from. I think even Cartoon Network started showing Naruto,
And I think the curation was not as great as it used to be.
This was when the time Naruto started to air around.
So there's like WB, there's Fox. They were also showing, Saturday morning cartoons like anime. Sci-Fi Channel actually used to show anime too.
I used to watch Gurren Lagann on Sci-Fi.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sci-Fi.
So fucking wild.
Well, Sci-Fi in the early days actually used to show like Akira and stuff.
Yeah. It actually used to show sci-fi.
Yeah.
God, the Monster of the Week movies was fucking awesome.
They were great.
Oh, I remember that block. That was sick.
Boa versus Anaconda or some
Yeah.
shit.
Those were awesome. And then TNT used to have that monster block too. And then so I'm gonna go ahead and show. This is actually pretty sad. So this is 2008. This is the last episode of Toonami as they get canceled, and this is pretty gut wrenching to watch.
So before we play the video, I remember having a moment. I don't know how old I was, but before Toonami came back, years before, and I had a moment like, oh, I remember Toonami.
Yeah.
Then I decided to YouTube because that's when YouTube was a thing then.
Yeah.
So I remember watching it, then I saw this fucking clip.
Yeah.
Ball in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because this clip is, I don't remember seeing this live.
Me neither.
I guess I just stopped watching Toonami at the time. But I remember watching this clip in my bed, like, fuck. It ended.
This is the end of an era.
Say that I did watch this live.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Well, this is the end, beautiful friends. After more than 11 years, this is Toonami's final broadcast. It's been a lot of fun, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you who've made this journey with us. Toonami wouldn't have been anything without you. Hopefully, we've left you with some good memories. So, until we meet again, stay gold.
It's a Cowboy Bebop reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he voices
Spike.
Spike, yeah. Then probably 4 years
Oh,
later.
he hit us with the fucking tombstone.
4 years later.
4 years later, we would come back.
Yeah, you can transition to that now, actually.
Yeah.
So I remember, I was watching Adult Swim at the time in 2012. So Adult Swim.
So wait, in 2008, so after Toonami hit, Block ended.
Yeah.
Adult Swim kind of took the reins on showing late night anime.
Yeah. But it wasn't
because we all remember waking up at 3 a.m. and Inuyasha was playing.
Well, Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Brotherhood. But what?
What was that? What's that guy got white hair? Just wake up in the middle of the night, you're a kid,
Are you Joe Biden? Folks.
Hey, you want to hear my Mark Wahlberg impression?
Transformers 4. Optimus.
The house plants. They're trying to kill us. It's the wind.
I could get a fucking pump in.
Have you ever seen Pain and Gain?
No, but I know of it.
We'll talk about that later.
So Adult Swim is known April Fools. They showed this terrible movie called The Room.
Yeah.
So for 1 year, they broke that trend. This was April 1st, 2012. I remember this day like it was fucking yesterday.
Yeah.
So people expecting, and they did that, The Room, this iconic shot.
Mm-hmm.
Then it zooms out and it's Tom's fucking monitor.
Yeah.
And it's so Toonami. I'm like, holy fucking shit, Toonami.
This is out of the fucking blue.
Completely randomly done.
So true story, my Twitter account came from that moment.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember getting on Twitter, everyone's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Facebook at the time was freaking the fuck out. You see Toonami, everyone's going crazy. Then after that one moment, they had a lot of fucking views.
They did.
Then Steve Bloom come out and tweet hey, bring back Toonami the hashtag, whatever.
Yeah, because it was they went from the most that Toonami had was something like 200,000 viewers.
Yeah,
and for that broadcast, I
it
had
broke
more
records.
than 1 million.
I guess they saw holy shit, people want this
People
shit
want
back.
this shit
And then Adult Swim tweeted out, "You want it back?"
Yeah, so hashtag bring back Toonami.
Bring back Toonami. I remember this. I remember when I was on. This is the earliest days on Twitter.
Good Twitter.
I remember seeing
the Twitter was good at this time.
Yeah, sure.
So every day I literally used to do that hashtag.
Yeah.
Any
Bring
fucking
back
tweet.
Toonami.
Bring back Toonami.
Hey, Pyron is on. Bring back Toonami or some shit.
What a great example of how Toonami affected the community around us.
Dude, we stood up.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The army stood up.
We simply brought that back.
It's like that scene
simply
from
because
Hunger Games and everybody's fucking holding up their face.
It's just we were just driven by nostalgia and shit.
Yeah.
We want this shit back. And
But the thing that they did that was smart is that they brought back the version of Toonami that spoke to us as kids. They didn't bring back any of the bad decisions. They were like, no, these kids, this resonated for a reason, and we should bring that back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did, and it worked so well.
And even though they brought it back, it's still a lesser version because it used to be a weekly event.
Yeah.
Come on, but now it's only Saturdays to Sundays mornings now. But it's still same old Toonami, just one day. But I remember at the time when Toonami came back, you can tell they didn't have a lot of, I don't want to say funding. Yeah.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was it was still Toonami, but it was you can tell they didn't have a lot of, they put more shit up there at the time. That's why Cash and Sins. So they basically, what they did was Adult Swim anime with a Toonami skin.
Yeah.
That's what they was doing with 2 new shows at the
Well,
time.
when they came back, this is at the time and period when Funimation was a thing. They had their own website. Crunchyroll was a thing.
Yeah.
So they're still competing with that, which is what
Scary,
kind of
honestly.
sucks. And I think they should probably go into, if they did a streaming show, that would be sick.
So it's funny you mentioned this because I don't watch Toonami no more, but I'm the type of person I don't want that shit to go away. I want it to still exist.
I miss. So this is how I finished Brotherhood.
Yeah.
That was the first show I ever watched on TV where I would come home every week or every Saturday. I remember it was at 10 o'clock or something or 9 o'clock. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood would air, and it would be every week would be a new episode for that season. Yeah. So that was the first time I ever started an anime and finished an anime just straight through TV.
But I'm the same way. I'm one of those people that I want to. What does a Toonami for streaming look like? Do we do it's a one event a week that it's just like they just drop a new block every week.
I don't know if you guys remember that, but back in the day, Toonami had a website where you can watch like
I
past.
used to go to it. Yeah,
I used to catch up Naruto from that.
This is what I would actually do. So we didn't have a computer at home, but I would go to work with my mom.
Yeah.
And then I would find someone who didn't come into the office that day. I'd
just
get on their
watch it.
computer and I'd be like, Toonami.
That's so funny.
That was crazy. We typed that in.
And
right?
it's,
What a
yeah,
time.
and they would have this is back in the day because we're
Yeah.
old as dinosaurs, but this is back in the day where you could watch full blast episodes of any TV show on the
Legally.
internet.
Yeah,
Yeah, legally
legally.
fine. It's like,
Legally fine.
there was no paywall, nothing. You could just go watch an
Yeah.
episode. That
I
you
remember
missed.
like it's funny because it wasn't like a 16:9 video. It was
Yeah.
a fucking 4:3
Yeah.
video of anime. I remember
But
this
you didn't
website.
care. That was
You
just
didn't
normal
care.
for you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was the best part.
So I think they did like it was clearly older episodes, like
Yeah.
probably 2 weeks later they put it on the website, but it was something for you to watch. So I thought about this before, like because we live in an age where anime is accessible as fuck as ever,
Yeah.
and they call it STEMI class now, so you can get the dub version of you can get the sub instantly.
Simulcast.
So,
Simulcast.
yes.
Simulcast.
It's called simulcast.
Slim Thick.
What
Wow.
the
No,
fuck
I'm
are you talking
kidding. It's called Simcast.
Yeah.
So you can get sub anime instantly now.
Yeah.
So like I don't watch Toonami, but it would hurt me. It would be sad to see it die again
Yeah.
because time is changing. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Well,
They would probably have to keep up releasing sub first and then going into dub.
if they
Well, a lot of the popular anime are releasing in sub and dub like literally
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
so like since Time Warner owns Cartoon Network,
Mhm.
I guess they can. If HBO Max was still a fucking thing, if it
Yeah.
still is in the future, they can do like a Toonami block in HBO Max.
Yeah, I would love that.
And just do like I don't know how they would do it though, because like Tom's a big part of Toonami.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the thing. The format that Toonami existed in is sadly kind of not there
yeah,
anymore.
but TV's still alive though.
TV's still alive, but it's not the same beast as it
Same
was
beast, yeah.
back in the thing. It's dwindling viewerships.
Yeah,
The format is a little bit tedious. But I would sit down to watch like an hour of like Tom just watching me through 2 episodes of
Oh.
anime.
but
So Crunchyroll is actually a sibling to Toonami.
what the
Okay.
fuck?
So because Time Warner,
Owns Crunchyroll.
so it says the
Oh, it is on
anime-oriented
HBO Max.
streaming service Crunchyroll became a sibling asset to Adult Swim after AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner.
Yeah.
So AT&T owns Time Warner who owns
and
Crunchyroll. So yeah, they're never. I guess they're not in direct competition, but
Yeah.
they're still competing, but
they're still
they're owned
competing.
by
It's just
the
a
same.
different way to like
See.
the Crunchyroll audience isn't going to draw
So-
necessarily the Cartoon Network audience.
If
The interesting
Toonami
thing-
if Toonami ever went off air,
Yeah.
they could find a home on Crunchyroll.
On
if they
Crunchyroll,
wanted
yeah.
to.
The
But-
interesting thing about Toonami is that Toonami became such a cultural phenomenon in Latin America
Yeah,
and like places like me. Like my first exposure to anime in Puerto Rico was because of Toonami. And Latin America, like Mexico, Toonami is still very much like the thing to watch.
Mhm.
Because streaming, like internet services, aren't particularly the best in some parts of Mexico, so they still rely on broadcasting a lot. So Toonami is still very popular in some of those
You
places.
know, if we bring up Mexico and anime, we gotta bring up
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Dragon Ball
Super.
Super, Goku versus Jiren. They
Uh,
put that on. I remember this
It was a
day like
stadium.
it's
It was like a sports stadium.
they put it on like it was a projector or something.
Yeah.
like a UFC fight. Like
It was like an UFC fight.
It was in the
his
middle of
ad.
a town square, and it literally the streets was
the
completely
mayor was like,
full,
yeah, just stream Dragon Ball Super at this park.
which was
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
illegal for them to do that. But they were just
You
doing
seen
in the
this
middle.
Video? Great fucking.
It's
video.
amazing. It's like
amazing
fucking hundreds of
video.
people.
And most of those people are probably Toonami
Hundreds.
kids.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like 3,000 or 4,000 people. It's
Yeah.
the most insane thing. It's like, it's just, and they're all just like that's how big it is in
Yeah.
like their country.
But yeah, and a huge population of those people probably started watching because of
on
Toonami.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that blows me the most about Toonami. Blows me away the most. It's just like why it was so successful.
Yeah.
I think it was just like the success of Toonami is nothing short of astounding, and it like really represents to me like when you treat your audience with respect and when you talk to them directly and then you just curate a very specific aesthetic, you're just gonna find an audience.
It was the first cartoon block not to talk down to its audience,
Yeah.
not to treat its audience like children, but like a human being.
Yeah.
Which most kids crave that.
And not only that, it treated it shows it was censored to a degree, but it was like this is what Japanese
It was-
audience watch
Yeah.
watch this too. And that's what it did.
It wasn't holding your hand.
It was no jelly donuts moment in Toonami,
Right.
Ever. So it
I
it
mean-
wasn't. It wasn't like Americanizing in a way.
Yeah, it wasn't
Well,
whitewashing
yeah,
Japanese
something like
culture.
that.
It was like
This is Japanese entertainment.
I mean,
like
they
they're
still
Japanese.
showed Goku throwing back Frieza's disc
and
and cutting him in half.
well, that's
Yeah.
censorship. But what we're talking about is American localization.
localization.
They didn't
yeah.
localize a lot of the anime. They
Yeah.
kind of got it straight from. They could just kind of had it. Like there wasn't like they didn't replace onigiri with fucking jelly donuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I would call it Americanizing the fuck out of
Yeah.
it. It was just still Japanese. It was censored, but it was like Japanese content instead of American Japanese content.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't do the Power Rangers thing where they put American shit in the middle of like the fight scenes.
But I always tell people that like we bring up like old cartoons and stuff. People don't get it. Like at the time we was in, that lineup with Toonami cartoons,
Incredible.
that was a moment. Like
Yeah.
you go from fucking Gundam to Yu Yu Hakusho to fucking Dragon Ball Z in one night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next day you go to school, like nothing happened.
And you
Yeah.
can just
Like nothing happened.
No one does that now. You
Yeah.
couldn't do that now because
it's
it's such a.
different. Yeah.
It was just a little something for everybody.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
wanted to keep it so spread out that they wanted you to find something on there that you enjoyed.
Oh, that's a
So you may
stellar
not
lineup.
like Gundam, but you like Dragon Ball Z, so it's somewhere in that block and
Yeah.
you're gonna wait
probably
for it.
gonna sit for Gundam. You're
Yeah.
gonna sit through Gundam. To
And
get
you
to
know,
Dragon Ball.
speaking of this, it's always a thing. So I had a routine growing up. So after Toonami ended, I stay up till at least 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when Aladdin came on Disney. Back to
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
watched
so funny.
Gargoyles and Aladdin comes on. That's my time to go to bed.
Our Gargoyles.
Do you
was
remember? Do
fucking
you mean
sick.
like the Aladdin TV show?
Yeah, TV
That
show.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. So I remember going from Cartoon Network. Then after Toonami stuff ended, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Disney. Which is
Yeah.
the next channel. I just push one button. I remember these channels in there. Like 59 was Cartoon Network, 60 was Disney.
I remember 59.
Nickelodeon was 31. Sci-fi was 53.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's a good memory.
What is some of the? Let's see. I'm trying to remember all the shows I used to watch. So
TNT was 36.
I remember Naruto.
What is
Used to-
before we got to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, right.
before we wrap up, what is like your most memorable like moment with Toonami, like as an audience member?
I have very well. There, I have two. So
Mm.
one, as I already explained, was the Dragon Ball Z sun is setting, or the room is completely orange
The cozy
from this.
wozy.
I was cozy. I was laying in the floor watching Dragon Ball Z. I remember it was the Frieza saga,
Mm-hmm.
so that was magical. And then there's we didn't cover this, but I remember another core memory was the Intruder.
Yeah.
So
that's
the-
what it's called, the Intruder.
Yeah. So what? So they changed through years. I think once a year or something, they would change Tom's design,
Mm-hmm.
and the way they would do that, they would do these mini events. So
So
from
cool.
so from 1999 to 2000, it was Tom Era 1.
Mm.
From 2000 2002, Tom Era 2. 2003 to 2007 was Tom 3.
Mm-hmm.
From 2007 to 2008 was Tom 4. The way they changed the Toms is they'd have these mini events called the Intruder.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember all of them, but it's typically
Some
like a goo.
blob thing that eats machines or whatever.
I remember,
Yeah.
I don't remember which one particularly it was, which Tom it was, but it was something that got into his ship.
It was Tom 1 and Tom 2 when they transitioned.
Yeah, they were like, hey, Sarah.
yeah.
Sarah was the onboard computer, and she was like giving him a notification like, hey, we picked up something weird there's something in the
In the
ship.
Yeah.
What was the ship name?
Absolution. or
The
some shit.
Absolution.
Yeah.
And then like it would end up like killing Tom, and then him being like put back into another body. Or
I guess it's
something like that.
AI consciousness or something goes
Yeah.
into a different body or whatever.
Which is it's like a Doctor Who, just keep him alive for however much.
It
you
is like
want.
Doctor Who. That's
Yeah.
a great
And
example.
then they
of
would
it.
also
Yeah.
change up Sarah's design as well,
Yeah.
which she was like, my favorite one was like where she was like a floating like,
like,
hologram like Cortana.
Yeah,
that
it's
one
like
looked
Cortana.
great.
That's my favorite one too.
Yeah. Tom 3 and the Cortana one was my favorite era.
Yeah,
That's like
same.
that was like the best.
That
I
was
think of
peak.
Toonami. I think of that Tom there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Even when they brought it back when 2012, they went to 3.5, which is
Yeah.
just an updated version of that.
Updated version of that,
But
yeah.
Brian, what was one of your favorites?
I think it was genuinely sitting down or like going to bed in my hot ass Puerto Rican room and watching Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time.
She was saying.
It was like Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. I was like really at that point. I was like completely.
You mean the
hooked.
whole month it took for him? To
Yeah,
go?
yeah. I'd follow that for every single episode. I would watch it. But then, aside from that, I think like the first time that I really got engaged with Toonami was during one of those speeches. I don't remember
Yeah.
what exactly the speech was, but I remember really resonating emotionally. Sitting down, watching Dragon Ball Z, and watching Tom just tell me,
God, you
like,
guys gonna make me cry this episode.
it's great. And just watching Tom just be like, hey, man, I know you're scared. You're going to be okay. And I was like, fuck, you're right, Tom. That
so
was it.
like, as a kid,
What was your favorite?
I have plenty like moments I can just remember, but it's like TV was a big thing for me growing up. Like watching like just cartoons. I loved the shit out of cartoons.
Right.
Yeah,
So I was
because we
always-
lived in the bumfuck
Yeah.
of nowhere, so
Yeah.
we didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, and I just remember just being so invested into this shit. So I remember like when Goku first turned Super Saiyan 4 at the time.
Yeah.
I remember the tournament. I think which one? The original Dragon Ball where Goku was fighting someone.
Probably
Probably
Piccolo.
King Piccolo or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I remember Yu Yu Hakusho, the tournament arc too.
Yeah.
When he's fighting that big ugly guy with
Yeah.
glasses. I remember that. I remember the Broken Promises ad, especially when the ship goes up.
Yeah.
And I remember Dragon Ball Z, Return of Cooler, or Revenge of Cooler. what's that
Do you
movie
remember?
called?
Can you remember like a time and place where you're like just watching that and then just knowing your surroundings in your room?
Yeah, it was my room. The light is
Yeah.
on, the toy box is right there, Toonami's right there, my TV. I had a little gray TV.
Yeah.
a little gray
Toonami.
TV. And
I used, to
you're
sit
like,
I used to literally sit in front of that TV and watch.
Dude, like fucking
Toonami.
3 feet away.
Yeah,
Like, right
yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah, like
that was
right
me
there.
too. I was on my bed eating dinner
Mm-hmm.
and watching Toonami.
That was
Oh,
awesome.
It was awesome. What a
Yeah.
moment, man.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
look at us.
Yeah.
Look
Who
at
would've
us.
thought?
Who would have
Who
thought?
would've thought?
I mean,
There is something so uniquely powerful about the fact that we all have that. Look at, you grew up in bumfuck Virginia. You grew up in even more bumfuck Virginia. I grew up in like a tiny island in the Caribbean.
yeah.
And here we are.
And it all lead to that here.
And we
Yeah.
all have
Yeah.
something similar with us.
Yeah.
We all have this crazy connection because we're all connected to Toonami.
Happened because of Toonami.
Isn't that crazy though? Like
It
those
is.
moments, it led to here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking.
This is
wild.
why we're making a podcast and
Yeah.
talking about media. It's because Toonami taught us to respect what we watch
Yeah.
and like really consume it. Toonami was a teacher. For me, Toonami really was an art teacher.
Yeah,
It was someone that sat down and told me, it's like, hey, this is good. And I want you to think about why it's good.
and you never thought about it, like, cause as a kid, you never thought this was gonna be something you'd be talking about
Yeah.
many years
No,
later.
you
don't-
wouldn't.
You wouldn't recognize.
You don't realize you're in the good old times.
Yeah.
Until it's later.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah,
So like thinking back, I learned more about art and being a creative person
yeah.
and being a person in general from Tom than I did from anyone around me. And part of that experience is because I was on the spectrum. So it was like really hard for me to pick up on shit. And Tom was the only one that was going like, hey man, these people are gonna talk shit about you. and you just
That's
gotta
crazy
deal
that
with it."
like anime
TV
block
block,
was like
yeah.
having to teach you a life lesson.
But like,
But-
he's not exaggerating. Those Toonami speeches are awesome.
Yeah, they're
really
great.
inspirational.
That really
Yeah.
wasn't like a TV show. That was a moment in time.
It's a
Yeah.
TV side of a TV show. Like Tom was his own.
But
thing, though.
that's
Yeah.
the importance of that. Like, I think we wanted to convey here today was just Toonami. I think really did change the U.S. I mean, if you look at it today, if you're growing up now, anime is so big and
Yeah.
it's such an ingrained part of American culture that we don't really understand where like it come from, but we have an inkling that it was probably mainly it had to do with something with Toonami.
Toonami was the first moment in time that I remember all of that media becoming mainstream.
Yeah,
And like it popularized it. There's no way around it.
yeah,
There's like sure we had them in the four kids block,
yeah.
Yeah.
but those block treated them as American cartoons. Toonami was the one that was like, no, this is Japanese. And you're gonna watch it.
Yeah, well, it was very curated. I mean,
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh was probably the only wildest thing
Yeah,
that they had
sure.
on there.
Yu-Gi-Oh was on Cartoon
But I
Network
mean,
for a
like,
time.
look at
For a little bit, yeah.
but look at like Toonami was putting up Prince of Tennis and Bobobo.
Yeah.
What the hell? What kind of
It's fucking crazy.
stark
Outlandish shit.
contrast
Yeah.
between those two?
They were doing One Piece respectfully for a brief moment, but it just stopped airing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
they
people-
probably didn't have like the rights or couldn't afford it
Yeah.
or
So-
something.
I think to wrap up my whole thing about Toonami is that it injected us, the generation that really resonated with it, with an amazing like sense of passion and care for art. And it wasn't just a show or it wasn't just a block of programming for us. It was like formative. It was like it like taught us how to be people. It was it became a huge part of our identity, and it popularized like Eastern animation, taught us to respect it and cultivate it. And it's because of that respect and that cultivation of that interest that people like us are now going to be making the next generation of programming. Like a lot of us are working on animes. A lot of us
You
are
see a
working
lot
on
of
their own
American
manga.
cartoons right now, actually.
Yeah, a lot of American cartoons that are so greatly influenced
Yeah, by anime.
by anime, and half of those animators would probably sit down and tell you, "Like, I used to watch Toonami. I fucking love that shit."
I distinctly remember one of our, I won't say her name, but one of our teachers at AI, she kind of got annoyed about that. How American cartoons are transitioning to more of a anime-esque type animation instead of how the pre-popularized anime was.
Right.
Yeah. She got sick of the art styles and all that stuff. But
she's wrong. But
yeah, because Toonami plays a good effect there. Because like we grew up watching that.
Yeah.
That's way before her time, and no, that's what our generation and clearly the generation now are into now.
But they can see like the effect of how like. But now it's going to be probably like with newer animators coming on and then making cartoons more with an anime in mind. Now we're going to get a mesh of cultures.
Yeah,
and that's why I said earlier is like the world got a little bit smaller when Toonami aired.
Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, even Demon Slayer, like those are all shows that are like so Japanese,
but also American.
So influenced by American culture.
I remember Attack on Titan was. I never watched it, but I only watched the first episode. At the time, it was like fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a phenomenon at the time, and I remember like just people going fucking crazy over that shit.
Yeah.
It was fucking incredible. It was awesome.
They were sort of online, but I didn't stick with it long.
Yeah.
I just want to say like I can't. Also, one more thing. 25 years of Toonami now.
25 years.
That's insane.
25 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I'm a year older than that. Yeah.
Just to wrap up, I just want to say, Adult Swim, if you're watching, people who created Toonami, if you're watching,
I'm trying to find his Twitter account. I follow him. He's a cool dude.
The creator of Toonami?
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Dude, thank you so much. Genuinely, thank you so much. Thank you for fighting for Toonami. Thank you for bringing it back. Thank you for like.
Can we just cut this and just send it to him, please?
Yeah. Genuinely, thank you for the amazing amount of influence and artistry that you like taught us as a kid. You taught us a lot, and you taught me a whole lot. And Toonami has been easily the most influential thing in terms of media in my life.
Yeah, for us, our crown here. Like it's stupid to think that like this had such a big influence on my life, but it really did like help me kind of grow out of my shell and would kind of give me like a little bit of like of a boost. Yeah, like a ghost in the shell. It really did. Toonami helped me kind of grow as a person. It actually helped me make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And that was kind of hard for me growing up because I was pretty much alone a lot of my life. So thank you.
Yeah, those moments, probably repeating what we said constantly, but those moments we watched during Toonami throughout the years created an effect for us to go into stuff we like and meet people we like that has the same interests. It's pretty damn fascinating. Like I never thought like that one moment of me watching Dragon Ball Z led to me becoming or hopefully becoming an animator or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 3D modeling the next fucking Dragon Ball Z game maybe.
Yeah.
Or now talking about a podcast.
We should say we're all art students. We all went to art school.
And we all did it.
And those moments help inspire us to go down that path.
We all did it partly because of that show and that thing that really, really cultivated that spark.
All right. Can I get a thank you on 3? Alrighty. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Generally, it's been a great ride. And I've been loving it. And
Toonami, stay golden.
Stay golden.
Stay gold.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the episode. We really do mean it. If you guys can make it, an hour of us, talking about nothing, we do appreciate it. If you guys like this video, give us a like. If you dislike, give us a dislike. If you guys want to talk to us about Toonami or anything related, go join the Discord. If you guys came out to our panel, this episode will air on Tuesday. But our panel was Sunday. So if you guys came to the panel and got to watch us live, thank you so much. That actually means the world to us.
Yeah.
But I think that's all from us today.
That's all from us today. We will see you next week.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Stay golden.
Welcome to the televised revolution as we drift through outer space aboard the absolution. With time back and active duty as captain in charge of bringing superior anime action. Yeah, you came to the right place. If you have a taste for animation and deep space, broadcast through your television. Due to the progress of the Bring Back Toonami Twitter mission. The same block that brought us Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z is back, so stay tuned. I remember way back, never leaving my room. I stayed glued to my TV weekday afternoons. Yeah, and thanks to Adult Swim, I have a reason to use the TV in my room again. Cause every night I'll be tuning in, since they going back to show in action tunes again. Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television. Yeah, Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television. Welcome to the anime action fan sanctuary, with Tom providing that slick commentary. The other king of television besides Mary, full of new shows and classics on the itinerary. Television is back to being good, now that Toonami's being broadcast in every neighborhood. This is the manifestation of every dream of those who wanted anime to go mainstream. See, cause now it's cool again to come home and watch Gundam after school again. Yo, I wanna see that Wing Zero duel again, and maybe see Spike Spiegel chasing hooligans. Mix some of the classics with the new shows, and I promise we'll never touch the remote control. I never forget when Tom told us all to stay gold till the next episode. Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television. Yeah, Toonami's back, bitches. Wait, did you say Toonami's back, bitches? That's the official hashtag if you missed it. To celebrate Tom's return to television.